If you have a piece of crack cocaine no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, 1/4 of $1, we passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years.
You may or may not remember that. That was then Senator Joe Biden 32 years ago, 1991, touting legislation he passed that would automatically put anyone, as you just heard, in possession of crack cocaine in jail 5 years without probation. Well, on Sunday, a baggie of cocaine was found inside the West Wing of the White House. Initially, the white powder prompting an emergency hazardous materials call to the D.C. Fire Department. And now we're learning it was found in an executive entrance of the West Wing, not the previous location first reported. This one is closer to the Situation Room. And tonight, NBC News reporting that investigators are testing the baggie for DNA, for fingerprints, which could help identify a suspect, of course, but they say that could take weeks. Let's bring in former acting CBP Commissioner, Senior Law Enforcement Analyst Mark Morgan, and former Director of Special Operations for the DEA, Derek Maltz. Gentlemen, great to have you in this evening.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, first to you, Mark. It's been 5 days. This executive entrance, not heavily trafficked, now we learned. So what's going on?
Oh, but keep in mind, Bianca, they're still trying to say that even this interest in the West interest is heavily trafficked. That's another red herring that anonymous people are trying to put out there and support. I've been there as commissioner. I went through that entrance countless times. And Bianca, what I can tell you is that is a heavily controlled access point in the West interest of the White House. This is not where general tourists go. This is not where the general public go. This is not where the masses of employees that work in the White House go. They know every single person that comes on the White House grounds. That room, once you walk into those doors, you literally walk about 8 feet, take a right, and you're in the White House Situation Room. This is not heavily trafficked like the first day after Thanksgiving in Walmart. And I'll say one last thing. The United States Secret Service and the FBI, who are working together on this, they are two organizations that are the best in the world at what they do. They investigate sophisticated, long-term, complex investigations, sometimes at cross continents every single day. This is a straightforward investigation. Yeah. And if the White House allows them to do their job, and that's to interview everybody that they need to, including a cabinet-level official who made access to that area, they can find out who did this.
Yeah, like I said, it's been 5 days, and you're saying 8 feet away from, sensitive areas. We'll get to that in a second. I want to bring Derek in. Derek, obviously at the DEA, you worked really hard, get drugs off the street, get big dealers off the street. We just saw Joe Biden on the floor of Congress talking about sending people to jail for a small size of cocaine. All that tough talk. What about this case? It doesn't seem like that he's saying anything about trying to find who brought this into his White House. Or what about his son Hunter's own admission of crack use? The laptop photos have been seen around the world.
So, Bianca, thank you very much. I mean, having cocaine or any illegal drug in the White House is a disgrace to America and to our country around the world. The thing is like, what happens if there's fentanyl in it? Fentanyl is a weapon of mass destruction. We know that the illegal drug supply is tainted. We haven't heard if they tested it for fentanyl. But the reality, like Mark said, I've been in the Situation Room as well. And you don't just walk in there. It's very, very tight security. They have the best investigators, Secret Service, like Mark said. These guys are not hired security guards. They will figure it out. But we're used to deception and lack of transparency from this White House, right? This is what we've been hearing the last 2.5 years of this term. I mean, there's two systems of justice. Our rule of law in America is fading away, right? The story keeps changing. Where the hell is the timeline? Why isn't the president telling everyone he's going to solve this case? Because having cocaine in the White House is unacceptable.
Yeah, the story does keep changing. And so we have GOP Congressman Comer's letter. I have it right here. But, they want answers. And he says it clearly raises concerns about the level of security maintained at the White House. Do you agree, Mark?
Absolutely. Look, Derek said it best. I mean, we have no idea. What happens if the cocaine, we find out later, that was laced with fentanyl? What happens if it wasn't cocaine? It was a different substance like anthrax or ricin. I mean, the list goes on and on. And here's another thing. This is why this isn't a laughing matter. What happens if the individual who actually placed that cocaine there was a cabinet level official in this administration who has the authority and the broad ability to enact policies impacting our entire nation? And I'll say one last thing about this. This isn't President Biden's house. This is America's house. That's why I agree with Derek. This is a disgrace. It's disgusting. And what we should hear from the White House press secretary or the president is very simple and very clear. We will cooperate with the Secret Service and the FBI 100%. We will avail themselves to be able to do their job, to investigate, talk to anybody they want to, including the vice president, if the vice president used that entrance, which she does, to be able to find out who did this. We're not hearing that kind of talk and that response from this White House.
No, quite the opposite, as we played KJP from this afternoon, quite irritated that the media continues to ask questions about this substance in the White House. Got to leave it there. Two great experts, though, this evening, Mark Morgan and Derek Maltz. A pleasure. Thank you both.
Thank you.
You bet.